What are sleep skills and why they're so important in order to develop great quality sleep or even overcome insomnia or long-term sleep problems? In this video, we're really going to look at what I call sleep skills. Now, obviously, sleep itself isn't a skill. As human beings, we are all designed to be able to sleep. But what I've seen over the last 8 years of working with clients is often we expect sleep to happen, but we just don't know how to enable it, how to help it to continuously happen night after night in a very good way. So we're looking at sleep quality and quantity as well. And what I've seen over the years, and even me overcoming my insomnia, is that I needed certain skill sets in order to be able to make that happen. So this is where you convert the science or your knowledge you have into actually making something happen as a skill set to enable great quality sleep to happen night after night. Now, before we go into this sort of topic of sleep skills, I obviously wanted to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Welcome to this video. If you're returning, thank you so much for your continuous support. Some of the comments, the likes, I really appreciate, obviously, because that's the way I can reach more people as well. If you're new to my channel or this video, then welcome. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel, hit that like button below once you watch the video, and even come and introduce myself. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what are the things that you've learned from this particular video. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you in the comments and obviously you becoming part of my community if you haven't yet by subscribing. Now that we've covered that, I also thought that I'd give you a little bit of introduction of why I talk about sleep skills and why I'm the person that's gonna talk to you about sleep in general. So one of the main things I wanted to share with you is that I've struggled with insomnia. I know how it feels not to be able to either fall asleep. I used to toss and turn for often what seemed like hours. I used to also wake up in the middle of the night several times, and at the worst of my insomnia, I actually used to wake up with bleeding nose in the middle of the night. That's how exhausted my body was. And of course, I would not be able to wake up very naturally in the morning. I used to have 3 alarms, and we used to have to really get out of bed and drag myself out of bed because I really had to get going. So I know how it feels to struggle with some of these things when you have very serious or longer term sleep problems. But now, as a sleep coach, a professional speaker, and the creator of the Sleep Skills for Life program, I'm really able to show you how I overcome my insomnia and how I help all my clients for the last 8 years overcome their sleep problems and their insomnia too. So that's very much about the work that I do. It's very practical and it is skill set based, hence this video. So now that we've covered that, let's talk about what sleep skills are. So as I mentioned, we all designed to be able to sleep. Obviously, some people do have medical conditions that might stop the physical process of creating sleep. That can be some of the reasons why maybe you're struggling with insomnia. Obviously, I don't know your circumstances, but there are some medical reasons why sleep might not happen. But what we're going to talk about in this video is when we are actually able to make choices. When we're able to create behaviors, we're able to change our mindset, we're able to put in place certain habits that are effective and useful. Not just putting in a practice or mindset or a habit just because somebody says so and then it does not deliver results. So we really look at building skill sets that continuously deliver results in great quality sleep, overall great quality sleep. So let's look at some of these sleep skills that I teach my clients. As you might have seen, or if you haven't, I link the video here as well. I go through a 7-step process, whether or not it's a one-to-one client or a group sleep coaching client in my practice, to really develop these skill sets. And those skill sets will last a lifetime. So you want to make sure that the skill sets that you're putting in place are effective and working, and you know that they create great results, great sleep. So one of the first areas I look at is sleep assessment. You might have already seen some of the videos about the 3 different types of sleep assessments I talk about. If not, again, I'll link it here. But the sleep assessment part is one of the first set of skill sets. So what do I mean by a skill set in this area? Self-awareness is one of the best and most convenient ways or easy ways to really understand what is working and what isn't working, which is why some of the sleep assessments I provide in my practice really looks at not just your weaknesses, but looks at your strengths as well. Often clients will want to jump in and change everything, but some things might already be working for you, and let's not throw those away. So the skill of self-awareness when it comes to sleep is really important. What is working is equally as important as the things that are not working. And that's one of the first skill sets, is how can you recognize truly the things that are working for you already, whether or not this is sort of working 30% or 40% of the time, but some things might still already be there for you to go back to and build on and actually maybe enhance. So it's not about getting rid of everything, it's about looking at what's working and building that up. So the first skill set is very much the self-awareness piece when it comes to your sleep. And self-awareness in a way that it's not bringing emotions. This is not about how bad your sleep is. This is literally almost a bit more factually and in a way distancing yourself from the outcome. It's just looking at those tangible things that you can recognize. The second area I'll look at is personality traits. Now, what is the skill set here? Now, as an example, I'm always used to be and still is an analytical type person. This is who I am. It's very much part of who I am in so many different ways, even within my work as well. So the skill set here is how can I enable myself, or how can you enable yourself to tame the personality traits that are negatively influencing your sleep. So for example, as an analytical type person, I used to actually go to bed and purposely analyze things that happened, whether or not it was a mistake, a conversation I had with someone, or any other things. So I would purposely spend time in bed doing that. Now that I know that wasn't, or back then when I realized that it wasn't helpful, I have now developed the skill of actually taming that personality trait by different mindsets, certain habits and tools, so that they no longer take my time in bed actually analyzing things. I can leave them behind. I still analyze, but I don't analyze in bed. That's the difference. That's the skill set that I build. I actually able to separate the daytime to the nighttime and train that type of personality trait not to come up in a way that it stops me sleeping well. I hope this makes sense to you as well. Then we look at sleep basics. So what can be a sleep skill there? Sleep skill within the sleep basics is very much about not taking out of context what you find within your sleep dynamics, so sleep basics. So sleep basics can be judging how many hours you should be sleeping or want to be sleeping. So this is again quite a typical thing. So often clients come to me and tell me that, one of the things they want to achieve is they want to go to bed, let's say at 10 o'clock and wake up at 6 o'clock, and that's what they want. But what you're missing out on as a skill set there is listening to your own body. Your body might not be designed in a way that is possible. I'm not saying it's not, but if you don't develop the skill set of listening to your body to understand how your sleep is best sort of positions in your day, then you're going to be missing out. You're going to be working against your body and your mind rather than with your body and your mind. So that's another good example of a skill set, is really listening to your body in a proactive way to understand what you might need to put in place to enable that great quality sleep. And again, this isn't always obvious, so there are other sort of different skill sets around this to really get to this place. Then we move into falling asleep. So a good skill set here is letting go. Now you might have heard letting go, or maybe if you're sort of explored other areas of your life and improving them, you might have heard of letting go. But if you're tossing and turning in bed and not able to fall asleep, let's say within 15 minutes or 20 minutes, initially in the night, you're probably not letting go. Something either physically, mentally, or emotionally you carried into bed with you, and that's delaying the falling asleep process, or actually maybe stopping it completely, depending on the range of issues that you might have with your sleep. So this skill set of letting go, and it's very much a tangible skill set. I literally trained so many clients over the years now to really create that very clear separation and letting go the daytime so that they can actually really enjoy great quality sleep. That's a tangible skill. The next area is staying asleep or sleeping through the night. Again, the skill set there isn't necessarily about stopping you waking up, because sometimes waking up can happen for a real reason. Let's say maybe there is a storm outside. That's a natural response for the body and the mind to wake you up, and maybe there is perhaps a bit of a dangerous situation happening. But the skill set there is, how do you help your body and your mind to transition from maybe being woken, being frustrated, being disappointed, whatever else you might be feeling. How do you go from that into calm enough and relaxed enough, both physically, mentally, and emotionally, in order to be able to fall asleep again? So that is, again, a skill set to enable that process, to proactively help the body and the mind to go through that process, rather than just sort of crossing your fingers and see what happens, right? This is a skill set of taking your body and your mind through that transition in order to be able to fall asleep again. Then we look at waking up. Waking up, and a good example of a skill set in waking up is, let's say you have already woken up to your alarm, but how are you enabling the body to be able to start getting going in the day? Again, I talk about this in different videos, all those different things I mentioned already, but waking up is again a set of skill sets. Just because you've woken up, it doesn't mean that your body and your mind has gotten going already. How do you enable that waking up process to reach the energy levels, to reach that full wakefulness, is a set of skills. So one of the things I would suggest in this area as a skill set is, how do you, instead of putting your mind under pressure, how do you enable the mind to become more and more active? So again, one of the typical things that often clients tell me is that when they wake up, they start doing things, whether that's maybe checking their emails or even just thinking. It doesn't have to even include technology. It could just be that literally you start thinking about your problems, maybe about your meetings or whatever you've got planned for the day. But there is a way to enable that process so that it's actually really helping the body and the mind to get going in an easy way, rather than putting stress over whether it's mind or the body straight away. When you put so much pressure on yourself first thing in the morning, that isn't necessarily natural. That could be literally you triggering a stress response. You're awake and your body's going 100 miles an hour already. That's not necessarily the best skill set to help you last the entire day as well. So that's one skill set example there. And then we look at maintaining energy levels. Now again, this is a whole different area that I look at with my clients. There is physical energy, there is emotional energy, and there is mental energy, which I look at. So those are all skill sets. Let's say maybe you get emotional. Now, emotional doesn't have to mean negative. It could be positive as well. It could be that you're getting really excited about something that you've got going on in your life. If you're not able to help your emotions to decrease so that they're not taking over, again, almost like taming the personality traits, you actually want to enable the body to return to a more neutral place, then you might actually be using too much energy there, and you might end up feeling really tired by the end of the day because you have used so much of that type of energy throughout the day. So that is again a skill set. I call this emotional scale. So how do you enable the body to go through the emotional scale in a way that it protects your energy reserves? This is again one example. There's many other different types of things that I look at in this area, but that skill set is going to help you to be more emotionally stable throughout the entire day. not have so many highs and lows. So often when people have very high emotions, often they then actually drop down way below instead of coming back to neutral. So again, that's a skill set to help your body and your mind go through those emotions in a sustainable way, in a way where you don't end up either exhausted or extremely hyper. So again, that's what we look at as a skill set. So these are some of the examples of those skill sets that I look at with my clients. These are just some of the examples within my one-to-one work that's 3 months long, and within my group coaching program that is a minimum of 4 months long. We look at a lot of different things within that, so I don't have time to cover everything. But these are good examples of those skill sets that you want to put in place in order to be able to help your body and your mind to be able to create great quality sleep consistently, because these skill sets will end up working for you for many, many years to come, therefore become sleep skills for life. So thank you so much for watching. In the comments, let me know which maybe one of these skill sets that you're going to focus on. Just take one. You can't do all of them straight at once. It's all developing a skill set, so it will take time, but take one of them and let me know which one you'll be working on in the coming weeks. And of course, if you've got any other questions, let me know. And if you want to check out any of my services, then you'll find my website details below as well. But thank you so much for watching this video. And I really encourage you to look at this relationship between not being able to sleep well and your journey to sleeping well as a skill set building. How can you enable all these different things to work in your favor to be able to consistently deliver great quality sleep for many years to come and develop these skill sets? So thank you so much, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video where we continue exploring these different things that I help my clients with and put them in place so that you can start improving your sleep and even overcoming your insomnia.